Hi, my name's Kevin Wright, and I'm the Communications Manager for the City of Chaska. We're starting a new series called Beyond the Budget, where we take a little bit deeper dive into some of the proposed initiatives for the 2021 budget. Each week, we'll sit with a different city staff person to talk about some of those initiatives and why they're important to providing that high quality of city services that you, our residents, have come to expect. Enjoy! I'm here with City Administrator Matt Podhradsky, and the first thing we're going to talk about is, kind of what the city's kind of currently in right now, and that's the budget cycle. So Matt, what's kind of going on right now with the council and kind of some of the priorities?
Yeah, so this time of year, one of the things that we do is we start looking at our budget for the upcoming year and really prepare for September, where the city council, based on state statute, has to set a maximum tax levy. So in essence, what that's saying is they're setting what the maximum amount that they can have for taxes next year, that then gets sent out to our residents through a tooth of taxation statement that lets them know if we do the things that we say we're going to do, this is what it would actually cost them on their tax statement. In December, we actually go through the process of establishing the final levy. The levy can go down from what it was set in September, but it can't go up. So it gives people a sense of what's being proposed, what's being talked about as priorities, and what that cost would be to them next year if we were to implement, or if the council is going to implement.
So when we typically talk about budget and kind of go through this cycle every year, what's kind of the council's goals or objectives during this process, and maybe how has that changed due to COVID this year?
Yeah, so we do start with a list of objectives of things that we say this is what we really want to make sure we accomplish through our budgeting process. And it starts with, how do we develop a budget that reflects our mission of being the best small town in Minnesota? And it really gets down to services. We're trying to provide the best services that we can to our residents in a cost that is reasonable to them and provides them with good value. One of the highest priorities that the council has set in this process is to make sure that the assets that we've already invested into, that we continue to invest back into those, and that we have a process or a policy that we use to establish our tax levy so that there's some predictability from year to year.
So Matt, then what will be some of those kind of focal points that the council is going to look for in 2021?
Well, this is a really difficult budget year. As 2020 was, mid-year we had to make changes because of COVID. COVID has had a pretty dramatic increase impact on revenues across the city, and so as we looked at this budget, there was really sort of three key priority areas that the council looked at. One was our capital improvement program. One was looking at our general fund reserves and making sure that we keep those built up and keep our credit rating strong in the community. And then the last one is looking at our policing services and some of the results of our community conversations that we've had. And those end up being really the areas that were discussed, and that's what we're going to end up talking to residents about over the next few weeks is what are each of the things that the council is looking at those areas, and what are the things that they have to consider as they're looking at those.
So when you hear taxes, you hear budget, and you see the reports come out, there's a lot of numbers, there's percentages, there's tax levy per capita, there's tax levy, there's tax rate. So what's the bottom line here? What's it mean for me if I'm a resident?
Yeah, I always think at the end of the day, what people care about the most is what is it going to mean to what I actually pay. So one of the things that we always try to do in the budget process is really get down to the bottom line and say, if we set the tax levy at this amount, this is what you could expect as a homeowner. And so for 2021, which is what we're working on now, the bottom line for the maximum tax levy that was set at our council meeting this past Monday is that the median value home in the community would see an increase of $5.33 per month for the services that we would provide, and that with that we would still fall within the 10 lowest tax levies per capita in the entire Twin Cities. And what that means is per person we have the top 10 lowest taxes per capita of 86 metropolitan municipalities. municipalities across the Twin Cities.
Well, great. Well, thanks, Matt, for coming on today. This is just kind of a mini segment of Matt's. He does a great job of presenting this to the council at the preliminary tax levy presentation at the previous council meeting. So there's a lot of good information on our website if you want to dive more into kind of what's in the budget and kind of what the council is considering for 2021. This series will continue as well. We'll kind of touch base with a few of our other department heads that manage other services that are going to be kind of focal points in that 2021 budget cycle. So stay tuned, and hopefully you've enjoyed our first episode, and hopefully you continue to tune in.